What is up, my beautiful subscribers? Dave back again for another moto vlog, and today I just wanted to make a video addressing a question that I've gotten a lot. A lot of you guys have been asking me, whether it's in the comments, on my Facebook, different places, Dave, what kind of bike should I start on? What size? And as you guys know, I've been pretty busy lately. I've been uploading a lot more than I usually do. And I figured it'd be a lot easier for me than writing out a long response, which I have for many of you guys, to just make a video. That way I could just link the video to you and be like, well, actually, you know what? I did a video on that. Here's what I think. So that's what we're gonna do today. So for those of you that don't know, when I first started getting into motorcycle riding, I did things the complete right way. I went to a motorcycle class taught by ex-motorcycle cops, full weekend event, sort of like your MSF course, which most states have, but this was a different one, a more private one. I then proceeded to get my license and went and bought my first bike, which was a brand new Kawasaki Ninja 300. And I kept that bike for about a year and a half and rode the shit out of it, man. I put a good 23,000 miles on that bike before I sold it. I never once had an accident or a crash on it, so I did pretty well. And then I upgraded to the old Gixxer 600. Now, I will say I have ridden almost every bike there is. I've ridden cruisers, I've ridden big cruisers, small cruisers, 750 sport bikes, 1000 sport bikes. I've ridden pretty much everything. I've only owned the 300 and the 600, but I've ridden friends' bikes tons of times. Too many times to count. Now, first off, before you choose what bike you want, I highly suggest taking a motorcycle class. I mean, they teach you valuable information that you're not gonna pick up on the road. And you wanna have that knowledge when you get out on the road as a new beginner instead of picking it up yourself, because sure, you'll pick it up yourself, but when you're playing with your life, man, you definitely wanna take a motorcycle course and learn a thing or two before you actually get on a bike and take it into traffic. So if you're wanting to be completely safe, well, of course, you're never completely safe on a motorcycle, but if you're wanting to be smart and do things the right way and minimize your chances of something bad happening, definitely take a motorcycle course. I would suggest looking up the MSF course. I know they have them in each state. The one I had was just here and it was a little private thing. But MSF, Motorcycle Safety Foundation, look it up for every state and enroll in one of those and take the weekend course. It's also gonna make getting your license a lot easier because they usually provide the bikes, and when you get done, you can just go get your license. Usually they waive the exams and whatnot if you have the motorcycle safety certificate. Then start looking for a bike, because now you can ride it off the lot, and you've actually ridden a little bit at the MSF course on short courses and things of that sort, and you know, would feel a little bit more comfortable taking it off the dealer lot. Now, when you're looking for a bike, this is a very controversial subject, okay? Some people are gonna say, start on a 250 or 300. Other people are gonna say, no, at least get a 600. That 250 or 300 is gonna get old really quick. Other people are gonna say, oh, don't be a pussy, get a 1K. There's so many differing opinions on this that nothing that I'm gonna tell you is gonna be right or wrong, because it's just gonna be my opinion, okay? And I'm not claiming it's right or wrong, because it's just my opinion from what my experience has been, because you guys always ask me, what do I recommend? I started on a 300 and I have no regrets. I think I learned a lot on that little 300. And I can guarantee you those guys that talk shit about them, or the guys riding 1Ks, drag racing, and say, oh, don't be a pussy, get a 1K. You know, don't get a little 300 girls bike. I guarantee you that those exact guys that are saying that cannot ride a 300 to its full potential in the curves. Guarantee you they can't do it. Those are the guys that just live for the straight line speed. They just want that rip on the throttle and go straight really fast. Don't get me wrong, drag racing has a lot of skill to it, okay? I'm not bashing drag racing at all, but that's the thing. Don't bash curve riding if you can't do it and you don't know nothing about it, because the funnest thing on that 300 was hitting the curves. Because I can tell you from experience, back in my bike group, I would go on big group rides, and those same guys that would give me the hardest time, they'd be the ones whose ass I was right on in the curves. They'd be on a 1K. Sure, on that straightaway, they'd leave my ass. But by the time it came around to getting out of that curve, old Dave was right there on their ass. And a couple of my buddies be looking at me like, God damn, Dave, you ride the shit out of that 300, dude. Like, every time I look in my mirror, you're like right there. So that's the thing. And I never even mastered the 300. I mean, I wasn't dragging knee around curves. I was pretty good, but I wasn't dragging my knee around them at, you know, 115 miles an hour. power. You know, if you're gonna do some curve riding and things like that, I think the 300 or a 250 are awesome bikes for it. It's gonna teach you a lot and get you well prepared to take the step up to a super sport. Now I'm gonna clarify, when I say super sport, I'm gonna classify that as a 600, 750, 1000 sport bike, okay? Because depending on where you live or what your choice of words are, some people refer to super sports as anything like 750, 1000, things of that sort, and other people's just refer as like 1K and above as super sports. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call super sports anything 600cc, 750, 1000, not a 650. A lot of people like to think 650s are more powerful than a 600 because it's a higher number cc, but that's not true, because a 650 is a 2-cylinder engine, okay? It's small displacement bike. A 600 is an inline 4 engine, so it has 4 cylinders. The 650 is going to have more torque on the low end, which actually makes it a lot better for a new rider as well, because taking off, you don't have to give it so much gas and kind of learn that clutch and throttle ratio to get the bike to take off smoothly, as a 600cc an inline 4 engine has less torque on the low end, but all its power is mostly in the high end. So taking off, you're going to have to give it a little bit more gas, a little bit more clutch work and things like that. I mean, you figure it out quickly. It's not hard, especially if you've driven a standard car or something before. It's the same concept. But I will say a 650 is much better for new riders. Now, me personally, even though I started off on a 300, I feel like I would have been okay on a 600 starting off on the Super Sport. However, there was a few kind of things that I messed up on in the curves on the 300 that I feel like if I would have been on a bigger bike, a 600, I probably would have high-sided, or, you know, something would have went wrong, making some of the newbie mistakes that I made on that 300. But the 300 is much more forgiving than a 600cc motorcycle. In my opinion, I think if you're going to be starting out and you just have your heart set on a super sport, okay, like you have your heart set on it, you love the sound, because obviously no 2-cylinder is going to give you the same sound as a 4-cylinder bike. It's just not going to happen. No matter what exhaust you put on it, no matter what exhaust tips, it's all going to sound completely different from a super sport. But if you have your heart set on it, I would definitely start on a 600 before 750 or 1K. Trust me, a 600 is plenty of freaking power. I'm telling you, especially as a new rider, you're gonna have this big ass grin on your face from ear to ear when you get on that throttle for the first time. When you feel a little bit comfortable and you get on it, you're gonna feel like bitch is gonna pull you off the bike, man. And that actually happens. You gotta be careful. You gotta be expecting the power. You know, if you get on it in that high end and you just rip that damn throttle, just hold on, bro. Be prepared. Like, to me now it feels slow, but when you first start, it feels fast as shit, and it does feel like the bike's about to pull you off the son of a bitch. So just be mindful of that. I would definitely start on a 600 if you have your mindset on it, and I would be very, very, very careful in the curves, okay? Because the curves can bite you so quick, especially if you're riding with other people who are better than you. I've seen it too many times where guys are riding with people better than them. They're just following tail lights and keeping up with the speed of the guy who's been riding for years and they've only been riding for a month, and boom, they go down because they can't take that curve as fast. And every little input that you give it is going to be much less forgiving than that of a 300 or a 250cc motorcycle. Now, as for a 300cc, I would definitely choose that over the 250 if you do go for a small displacement bike. Even the 650 is a really good bike to start on. Like I said, it's 2-cylinder, has good torque, which is going to help you take off a lot easier. It doesn't have as much high-end speed, and it doesn't have as much power. 650s are a great starter bike, and it has more power than the 300, but I would at least go for a 300 or a 650. To me, the 250 lacks too much speed to kind of get you out of a pickle if you get in one. It's like sometimes, you know, you're next to a car and they start to get over, you're either going to slam on your brakes or you're going to give it gas to get the hell out the way. And, you know, there's been a couple of times where I had to squeeze out of a pickle by giving it gas and just get the fuck out of there. I feel like the 250 probably wouldn't have enough power to handle a lot of those situations. The 300, much better equipped. There's a big difference in power ratio between the 250 and the 300 from what I've noticed. I've ridden 250s also. So if you're going to be hitting a lot of curves, I 100% recommend a 300. I'm just going to tell you right now, because you are not going to master that after a couple months. If you're all about the straight line speed, yes, it's going to get boring after a few months, but I kept my 300 for a year and a half, and that's all because I took it out in the curves and did what the thing was supposed to do. Had fun. Be very careful on the curves though if you're not going to a track, because you got to watch out for gravel, pine straw, rocks, everything when you're hauling ass around some curves. But you know, it's still fun to take it out every now and then, scout the road first, check it out, make sure there ain't no shit all in the roads. but definitely I will 100% recommend a 300 if you think that you're gonna like the curves. Trust me, you will have a blast on that 300 in the curves. It will not get old quick if you take it out to the curves every day. But another thing a lot of this comes down to, guys, in all honesty, is the rider. That's why there's no right answer, because some riders have more common sense than others. Some riders are crazier than others as far as, you know, they want to go 100 everywhere they go. So a big thing is rider, you know. That's why I can't ever tell anybody a simple answer. You know, I don't know how much common sense they have. I don't know what their tendencies are when they get on that bike, if they're going to be going 120 down the interstate the moment they get it. So the rider has a lot to do with it. And if you think that you're a person that's going to be easily influenced to be gunning it everywhere and hauling ass around the cities, then I would definitely start smaller. If you think that you're a guy that's a little bit more chilled out and able to take things slow and not get too comfortable and reckless, then, you know, try out starting on a bigger bike like a 600 and take it slow. Alright guys, well really that's going to be it for this video. I know it's probably not going to be as exciting as most of my videos, but like I said, it's something I wanted to do. That way for new riders that want to know what the best type of bike for them to get is and my advice on it and how I feel, it'd be much easier for me to just link a video, which gives me more time to film, edit, and post more content for y'all. So it's a win-win situation, bro. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing. And until next time, peace.